Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumo. If you were to walk into a bookstore or the book section of a shop, which type of book would you pick up? Well, different people from different generations tend to have different preferences. At Quintessence Ikoyi, Lagos, I bumped into a young Nigerian makeup artist and wardrobe stylist, Ijemen Ohiomokhare, and asked her about her reading preferences. IJ, as she is often called, just happens to be one of those young Africans who are finally embracing fiction literature coming out of their own continent. This might introduce you to the exciting world of Naija books. Enjoy our chat. IJ, thank you for joining us on the Channel's Book Club.
Only thank you for having me.
All right. If you were to make a pick here, which would you choose?
First of all, I judge a book by its cover, and then I also tend to read behind the book and then see what kind of a book it is. And I'm also a fiction person. So if I was to pick a book here, it would be maybe After the Left and Easy Motion Tourists.
Easy Motion Tourists.
Yeah. And then The Fisherman, I read the back of The Fisherman and it didn't look like a bad read. So I just figured, okay, why not?
So how a book is designed is very important to you.
Yes, for me. A lot of people say don't judge a book by its cover, but
you do.
But I do.
We all do.
I do. I do.
We all do.
I do.
Now, why fiction? Why do you prefer fiction to non-fiction?
First of all, I think that fiction is an easier read. You don't think too much when you're reading fiction. It flows. You're reading a story, or it's just easier to read. I don't concentrate so much, and I read for pleasure. Novels for me are for pleasure. When I've had a long day or a terrible day, I just take a book to take my mind off it. So for me, I found that it works for me. Fiction usually just takes my mind out of whatever is happening to me. So it's easier for me. It's an easy read for me over non-fiction.
Is that common with young people, would you say?
I think so. I think that young people read for various reasons. Either you read for pleasure or to gain information. Now, for people who read for pleasure, they tend to go towards I've asked a couple of my friends, or friends that maybe take my books. They usually prefer fiction books because they're just easier. They're just easier, and they take you to worlds that you never imagined that you go to. Some, so many adventures with fiction, unlike non-fiction.
But generally speaking, is there a preference for movies over books?
I think that's an individual thing. My younger brother, for instance, is not a book person. He wants to read. He'll pick up the book, read the first 2 chapters, and then he drops it no matter how interesting that book is. And he'll rather watch a movie. But I'd rather pick a book. I'll pick a good book. For me, it serves almost the same purpose, because when I read a fictional book, I dive into the book. It's like I'm watching these things play out in real life. I develop characters. I develop pictures of these characters in my head. So it's interesting for me. It's more interesting for me to read a book because I build the character to the way I want that character to look, unlike, watching TV. So it's an individual thing. If you really like to read, then it's different for you than someone who just likes to watch TV. So I think it's an individual thing.
Now, your dad has a lot to do with your reading.
Yes, he does.
The reading
Yes,
culture you developed.
Yes.
Now, you and your brother grew up under the same roof.
Yes.
You like to read, he doesn't like to read.
Yes.
How do you explain that?
I think because I started earlier.
Okay.
We started with the Bible in the mornings. Every morning he'll make me, I know there are a lot of stories in the Bible, so every morning he'll make me read it aloud for the entire family because we do this morning devotion thing. And I did that continuously, and then he started introducing books little by little. First of all, those really small ones that are like, 20 pages. And then he never gave me books with pictures. So I think that's why till now I don't think I know how to read books with so many pictures. He never gave me books with pictures. So I'll just read them, and then after I'm done, he'll bring another one. He did that for me, and I started reading from a really young age, and I developed the habit. My younger brother, I don't think he paid as much attention as he did for me. I'm the firstborn, so all the attention and all the love. Yeah. But my younger brother was a bit different. So I think that's why he didn't pick up the habit. He wants to. Now my dad tries to make him read, but I think it's a bit too late. Now he can decide for himself and say, no, I'm not reading. I'm not reading it, Okay. Yeah, but when you're younger, they say read that book, you read it, So that's how it was. He will tell me to read a book, and I didn't have any choice. I'll read it. So I developed the habit.
Okay. Now, so you picked these 2 books.
Yeah.
The Fisherman and Easy Motion Tourist.
Okay.
Mainly because they are fiction and because of the way they look.
Yes.
Now, tell me about the ones you've read.
Okay, I have.
Which is your favorite here that you've read?
I don't know if I have favorites because I've read so many books and the ones I really like are not here. But I've read When Lemon Grows on Orange Trees.
When Lemon Grows on Orange Trees. That's this.
Yes.
I've not read it. What's this about?
This particular book I was happy about because it was written by a really young girl, who is an undergraduate, She's a youth. So we're happy that youths are picking up habits of writing as well. The book is about this girl who, she and her younger brothers, 3 younger brothers, they grew up in the same house with their parents, and all of a sudden, things just went from bad to worse for them. They lost their parents, Towards the end of the book, she lost her brother. They realized that they experienced the good things of life, and then they went the opposite direction. So this book has...
That's a good, fun story.
Yes, it is a good, fun story. It's a good, fun story. And a great thing from a young girl,
Great. When Lemons Grow
on Orange Trees.
on Orange Trees. Which other ones have you read?
I've read Bury Me Come Sunday Afternoon.
Ah, this is a new one.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Nike Campbell Fatoki. Okay, it's very nice. Collection of short stories.
Yes, collection of stories. Brilliant read. I've also read that On the Bank of the River.
On
I
the
read
Bank
that
of the River.
quite a while back when it
Okay.
came out, and I think it was good as well.
What do these books, I mean the ones you've read, the ones here, the ones you've read, the fiction novels you've read, what do they tell you about Nigerian writers?
They tell me that Nigerian writers are creative. I mean, no 2 stories are the same. And some are village stories, some are city stories, and I enjoy them. Like I said, when I grew up, I didn't start with Nigerian books. I started with international books. I like to read them, Sidney Sheldon and co. But now I think I prefer Nigerian writers because they are, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, but they are grounded and they speak about things that I know of. They speak about places that I grew up, so I can relate with these stories. They are more realistic for me.
So you read more of Nigerian
Yes,
books
of late,
now
yes.
than of...
Yes,
That's interesting.
yes.
I know a lot of people who they have not caught the bug, if
Of
I may
reading
put it that way,
yes.
of Nigerian books. Is that a correct observation?
Yes, I think, and I think that it's because people abroad have made a name for themselves. All the Dan Browns, they've been there for really long. So it's difficult for people to give new things a try. Nigerian books have been around for a while. Like I think I read Chinua Achebe books when I was really young. They've been around for a while, but people haven't really caught the Nigerian bug. For me, like I said earlier, it's the Nigerian books are it. Chimamanda's books, Sefi Atta books, they're beautiful reads. For anybody who wants to kick back and have a beautiful read, those are it for me.
They say Nigerians don't read, they don't enjoy reading. What's your take on that?
Yes, Nigerians don't enjoy reading. I don't know why, I cannot explain why, and it's bothersome, especially for the young ones growing, because books helped my diction, helped my vocabulary. So it's bothersome that young people now are refusing to pick up a book because you won't learn everything from a classroom. You pick up things from life, and books are a great way of teaching people. So it's bothersome. I know that Nigerians don't read. I have friends, I have colleagues, and they don't want to read. They don't want to. I think they're just too bothered about life to relax, and I think a book is a good way to relax, especially a Nigerian book.
So, are you planning to write something yourself?
Yes, I am.
You
I've
are?
read so many great books that I have been thinking about it, and I think that I should be able to. I'll take it one step at a time, no hurry, and see how it leads.
Maybe you should try short stories.
Yes, I think that's easier.
A collection of short
yeah,
stories.
I think that is way easier than writing an
and
entire novel.
then you could build one of them into a whole
Hopefully.
novel.
Hopefully I become a billionaire from writing a book someday.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
Nice
very much for
having you.
having me.
Thank you.